It's up here. It's gonna be a mission to get up there. Almost there. Whoa. So I'm currently at a hidden ruin site in the remote southwest that was formerly inhabited by the ancestral Puebloans. But the journey here was not easy, and this is how we got here. While researching historic sites in the southwest, I caught wind of a fascinating canyon, possibly covered in ancient ruins. Situated on the periphery of a prominent native territory and the edge of two climatic zones, this canyon presented the opportunity for an intriguing excursion with many unknowns. I think that might be a double cat track. There's a lot of overgrown stuff, sticks, thorns, cactus. If the evidence from my research proved true, this canyon was likely a massive network of ancient life where natives thrived. It feels like we're just following the clues here. We see one clue and then it leads us to the next thing. It's totally intact. With no knowledge of the current conditions of the canyon and a potential storm on the horizon, my girlfriend and I ventured into its trenches in seek of the prehistoric artifacts. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Johnny out west here. Today, I believe we're in for a super exciting adventure. What's cool about this one is that we are currently in ancestral Puebloan territory, which is new to me and my adventures. I have yet to this point to explore Puebloan ruins and cliff dwellings. So for me, this is a super exciting day. Crazy because we just started our hike, and scanning the cliff side with the binoculars, we're already seeing ruins up on this east cliff. These up here are super high up. So I think instead of kind of spending a lot of our energy trying to scramble up to these first few, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna hike into the canyon, get a little bit of a lay of the land, and see if there's any dwellings that we can access easier so that we don't have to burn off so much energy at this early stage in the day. We just kind of wrapped around the first bend in this canyon, and we can see a pretty cool big rock structure over here. And I feel like I'm seeing ruins built in, but this one again is very high up. Careful. Not gonna lie, these clouds are looking a bit intimidating. The dark clouds moving in are making me nervous. I don't necessarily want to be down here in the wash if it's gonna start raining. So I think we're gonna change our game plan, and we're gonna scramble up and see if we can get up to the ruins up on this rock face. That way we can be relatively out of harm's way should it rain and should any flooding happen, because I just don't want to get caught up in anything. Despite all weather forecasts calling for sunny skies, the conditions were not looking in our favor. But I guess that's just the reality of monsoon season in the Southwest. With an uneasy feeling in my gut, I chose to stay precautious. So we headed towards higher ground. Steeper and steeper. Yeah, careful. Well, here it is, up close look. This cool sandstone formation. Be curious to see if we come across any petroglyphs or pictographs. I would bet we're gonna find something, which would be super awesome. First little structure right there, pretty small. That looks like it was just a granary. Jeez. Yep. Yeah, that thunder does not sound friendly.
Be very careful, please.
All right, so I just came out onto this rock face to give you a closer look. So here you go. Look inside this granary. Giving you a close-up look at the first structure. It's just amazing how well these structures blend in with the cliff wall. You really have to be looking for this stuff in order to find it. Otherwise, it just blends right in.
I found a teeth.
No way.
Yep.
Where?
Either a teeth or a claw.
Grab it. Oh yeah, that's a jaw.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Anyone who has clues as to what this is, I'm not exactly sure, but
Look at what I just found here.
is it pottery?
Looks like it. This one does, but this beautiful rock.
I don't know if you would call this lithic material,
It's very
but this was
different from-
definitely shaped for some sort of work purpose. And then Cami just found this piece of pottery. Amazing. You can see that pattern on it.
Yeah.
All right, let's put this back. So of course, when we find these artifacts, when we find these pieces of pottery, we leave them exactly where we found them. But right now, I think we'll come back here, but we need to go get under this cover because the rain's picking up. Oh, look at this.
That's definitely a shelter.
I don't know, this looks a bit small to be a shelter. I think this was just another big granary, that would be my guess. Because imagine, usually it'd be multiple people living in a shelter. Yeah, it's like, I wonder if this was like a 2-compartment granary where you had storage in there and then you also had storage here. And I wonder if there's a wall that's been degraded. All right, so all this stuff is really awesome, but we're getting wet. The cameras are getting wet, so we need to take shelter right now. And then we will come back and look at this stuff closer and we will get some better shots for you all to see clearly. Look at this.
Nice.
So, found a good alcove. Actually, a perfect roof. Like, couldn't have found a more perfect shelter from the rain. Oh, is that soot? You see how that's like all black there? Usually when you see soot like that on the roofing, it does indicate that there was a dwelling space. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, take into account that probably many rocks have fallen
Collapsed, yeah.
already.
My theory on what happened here, based on the fact that you have soot here on the roofing, is that before this gigantic rock piece was connected to here, right? And it separated and it fell off. And I have to imagine that that big surface was a dwelling space. Oh, there's a ton of pottery down there.
Yes, we need to get down there.
It feels like we're just following the clues here. We see one clue and then it leads us to the next thing. And this place is just clearly full of artifacts. Just want to make sure we don't creep up on any animals.
Mm-hmm. Look at that blue rock over there.
Looks like this could have been chipped by someone.
So fragile.
Well, here it is. I'm extremely pleased to see this pottery that's been left behind and hasn't been taken.
Oh, pretty.
This one you have some cool texture.
This one. This one.
This one is painted. It's just amazing to me that the painting has lasted all this time.
Look at this, how beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah, this striped stuff is so cool.
What do you think they painted with? Herbs?
Supposedly, yeah, they used extract from plants. This one's got some big texture to it. Well, tell you what, it's amazing to take a look at this pottery and appreciate it for a second. As mentioned, we leave all these things where we found them and leave them for the next explorers to come appreciate. But the hope is that they'll live here forever. That's the hope. I did want to give everyone a closer look at this granary here. Pretty sizable wall. So this was a big storage space. All right, well, we got hung up in this area much longer than we would have liked. There's just a lot of storm clouds rolling through, but it's kind of looking like there's some clarity on the horizon, so I think we're finally good to go. So now the mission is to continue down the canyon and find some dwellings. That's what we really want to see, is the living spaces that the Puebloans built and lived in. So that's what we're in search of now, so let the journey continue. Some more pottery. Really cool patterns. That's just beautiful. All right, back down on the canyon floor. Gonna try and pick up our pace a little bit now that we're out of that scramble. Super, super excited to try and track down some ruins. Oh, look at this.
Great. What?
Super old can.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wonder what this was. Oh, look at that. Please don't litter. Dispose of properly. An important message for anyone watching this video. But at this point, I consider this an artifact, so kind of cool to find, in my opinion. As we traipsed further into the canyon, we were met with more resistance from Mother Nature, and we began to realize that navigating this jungle-like landscape was going to be much more challenging than originally anticipated. We are just in some super thick brush right now that is really tough to navigate. It's kind of hard to know which way to go, yeah. But we're hoping that it'll clear a little bit, because it's also really hard to see the cliff sides in here. Yeah, so right up here, there's a pretty sizable structure, and it's actually like pretty shallow on the cliff, so we should be able to get up there pretty easily. Let's definitely go check this one out. Whoa, that's crazy. This is so cool. It's just like almost like a standalone structure. Wow. That's so cool. That's amazing. It's totally intact. Let's look inside.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. You have wooden supports that are still there intact.
Even here.
Right here, little wood details. Pretty cool. Right there, you can see the imprints of their fingers from where they were pushing the mortar in between the rocks. So typically, the Puebloans would use adobe, also known as mud bricks, to construct these things. However, this one looks like they literally just found flat rocks and stacked them and then bonded them together with mortar. But I'll say it's a pretty perfect looking structure. It's almost symmetrical. Oh, so there's this wood beam here, and then there's a cave. But it's not that big. Thought it might open up a little more, but still pretty cool. This is kind of like a natural granary in a way. A big cave, protected, so I would bet you they took advantage of that in some fashion. What I find a bit interesting is that this granary, it's not as well disguised as most others. It's very visible just because of its shape and prominence. So, you know, of course it does blend in with the rest of this rock, but it's, compared to some of the other ones we've seen, it's kind of obvious. You think they ever like used these as like decoys to like lure people to raid them or something, like lure people up here that might want to steal other people's crops.
I don't know. I think that is just for the food.
Over here, you see this? You got all this soot here.
Oh yeah.
Seems like back here was kind of just a nice natural little hangout. You have protection from the weather, and down here you have all this soot up on the ceiling. So you have to think that maybe right here they built fires. We decided this would be a good place to rehydrate, eat lunch, and relax for a bit, up on the cliffside above the hectic canyon floor. I hesitate to jump to too many conclusions about the implications of the ancient artifacts I find, but this particular granary did strike me as different. Although it is nice to imagine the Anasazi lifestyle as a purely peaceful one, that likely wasn't the case. I could be off, but this site felt like it could have been a booby trap. The perfect granary could have been a decoy, and people could have hidden in the alcove or even in the cave. With more findings under our belts, the anticipation for finding dwellings was building. I was feeling like we were on the cusp of a much bigger discovery, and perhaps our findings to this point were merely a trail of crumbs leading us to something more substantial. So, when I come into these canyons to explore, I try to think back to what life was like then, just trying to imagine a little bit, right? And it's a crazy thing, it was just a totally different world and different way of life. But I have this tendency, and I feel like probably a lot of other people do this, but I have this tendency to imagine that it was so difficult and so hard, and there was a lot of like suffering and hardship. And actually on the last video that I posted, someone commented saying something to the extent of they thrived in these environments. They were masters of their environments. They weren't struggling. And that kind of put it in an interesting perspective and kind of like changed the way that I view things. And so it's kind of cool to think of it that way. For a lot of this hike, we've kind of gravitated towards the dried out creek just because it's actually clear and we can walk through it. Most everything else is overgrown and so difficult. The sun is now out in full effect, so it's super hot. I'm sweating. No more rain, but that's the downside of no rain. Oh, some prints. I think that might be a double cat track. So I was kind of flying the drone around this cliffside. I could kind of see from the drone that there was a lot of soot on this one cove that kind of went in deep, and it just looked like darkness, but it caught my eye and I flew the drone over and we have ruins. So it's up here. It's going to be a mission to get up there, but I think it's going to be well worth our time. And it's funny because Cami was kind of getting tired of doing all this bushwhacking. She was kind of ready to give up and head back, and I was being a little bit stubborn. And where were we?
Oh, there. Yep, I feel
All right,
I want to leave.
come back here. What color was it?
Black.
Okay. All right, so we couldn't see it. I couldn't get it on camera, but Cami almost just stepped on a snake. You good?
No, I'm scared to that.
What are you scared of? You're just...
Everything, animals, getting lost.
Almost there.
You see them?
Yep, I can see them.
Oh, good.
Whoa. First sign of previous native life. All that soot. Oh, look. Oh, huge pottery shards.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. That's
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
there are some right here, too. Let's go.
This looks like it was shaved down. It's pretty sharp.
Like maybe it was a handle or something.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, look at this one.
Oh,
Here, this one.
that's gorgeous. Yeah, that pattern is
Yeah.
pretty detailed.
This
Whoa.
was like a neighborhood.
This is like a whole apartment complex.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that a 2-story dwelling? This is crazy. So this here is literally like a 2-story dwelling. It's a bummer how much is broken down, but it's still amazing how much is still here. It's really cool to see these wooden support beams that they put in. So this is just kind of the backside. To me, this does not look like adobe. This looks like just huge rocks that they collected. As we kind of gently walk around these ruins, we're super careful not to touch them.
Look at this. There is a piece of corn.
Oh, some maize.
Yeah, or the maize.
Ancient maize.
There is another one right here. Next to some pottery.
Oh, beautiful.
And I think that green thing on the floor,
An arrowhead.
that's an arrowhead, yeah. Should I pick it up?
More gorgeous pottery. And a little tiny cob of maize, which is just amazing to see. No pun intended. And it looks like Cammie found a potential arrowhead.
Could be, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was surely carved. Here's a piece of bone. Hard to tell what this is. If anyone has any insights on this, I'd be interested to hear it. So yeah, let's just give a good, slow look at the kind of inside of this dwelling unit. Kind of interesting that there are multiple windows. You got one up high there, so it almost looks like maybe there was like a second level built in there, perhaps. You can see how they didn't enclose everything, so when they had fires in here, they had to let that smoke escape. So I think that's the thought process there. And then behind me here looks like a granary. So storage. Not sure if this is a granary. It looks big enough for somebody to have slept in right here.
There's the baby's room.
Is the baby's room?
Yeah.
Yeah, could have been the kids' room. Yeah, that's a good point.
Look at the pattern on this one.
Oh, cool. You see these wood supports?
Yeah.
This window? Yeah, so I don't know. That could have been a little room there. And then this feels kind of cozy back here. And obviously you have soot all over. So you had lots of fires back here. Okay. So look at this granary. What I find interesting is there's all this soot here. Again, more fires back here. It is amazing to imagine winter times out here. Probably was brutal. So you can see here how they used kind of sticks as the internal structure of this wall and then just put mortar all around it. It's kind of funny. This reminds me of drywall. And here you kind of have this stray wood support. Makes you wonder what that was about. There's something else here that collapsed. I mean, you have a lot of wood here gathered on the ground. Yeah, this is kind of cool. This window that has a nice big windowsill. It's awesome. Well, not sure how the Puebloans would have felt about sweet tart ropes, but here we are, getting some blood sugar back in us. I think I'm seeing something up here. Definitely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely got more. Looks like dwellings. Oh, that's so cool. Whoa. Oh my God. Tons of pottery that we'll look at in a second. This is crazy. This is a big room. Window, you can see they used a lot of smaller rocks to construct this. Oh, look back here. Probably granary, storage.
You gotta see this. So there's this bone right here. There's this head. Is it the
Yeah.
teeth right here?
Little tiny teeth.
Yeah. They probably
then this
ate
one's like a
rats or birds.
Yeah, could be
Whatever.
a little rodent. What's this?
Yeah, I don't think this is a bird. Bird don't have teeth.
All right, viewers. Anybody watching? You got clues for us? You tell us. This is cool.
Yeah.
Lithic material. Kind of surprised we haven't found any pictographs or petroglyphs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was expecting to see more of those.
More and more pottery. Oh,
What do you find?
pictograph. Multiple pictographs high up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Interesting. It's green. I wonder how they got that color.
Just right next to it, there is.
It's pretty high up. It's hard for me to get close.
Do you see the one just right next to it?
Yeah.
Looks like hands.
I'm gonna go as high as I can here. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, no
It's
clue.
hard to tell from here, but it's green with red lines in the middle. Good bit worn away. Some squiggly lines, I don't know. And then over here, looks like it might be another upside down person, which I saw at that Vermont site in my previous video, but it was very different looking from that. I was kind of thinking that maybe this up here could be a pictograph, but it's very faint. Just, oh, look at this. Looks like a green squiggly.
Could be a snake.
Green snake?
Could be. Like the one I saw. Could be either that or water, maybe?
Oh, it looks like even up here they built something interesting. So,
That could be a granary.
are there more up there? Whoa. I think there's more up there. I think there's more dwellings up there.
It's never gonna end.
Because you see all the soot in there?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Oh, yeah. Maybe that was an outpost. Don't know how you would get up there now. Because this is just a sheer wall. Yeah, I mean, They definitely had some hangout up there. It's just how you get up there, I have no idea. So this just occurred to me. This kind of looks like this was a cover for this granary. As I stood there in awe of the ancient artifacts, I took a few moments to reflect. It's an interesting mix of emotions that manifest when I immerse myself into these ancient worlds, caught between a sense of gratitude for the luxuries we enjoy here in the 21st century and a sense of appreciation for the simpler way of life during the Anasazi period. Primal and brutal, but simple. As we made our way back out of the canyon, Cami and I were relieved to be leaving this rugged environment behind us. But I couldn't help but wonder about all the artifacts and the stories of the past we weren't able to reach, and the tons of other ruins we didn't have time to visit that decorate the cliffsides. Found Cami's favorite bug, grasshopper. Really cool one too. Well, everybody, as the sun sets on another Johnny Out West adventure, we are just about back to the car, where we will be heading back to our campsite for the evening. Gonna cook a little bit over the campfire and just relax. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and the kind comments. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Yeah, thank you all so much. This is Johnny Out West, signing off. See y'all.